The Knicks postgame show is presented by Tri-State Audi. Visit your Tri-State area Audi dealer today. A dominant win for the Knicks tonight in Atlanta. Julius Randle had 25 and 11. Jalen Brunson doing his thing had 28. Brunson also had 5 assists. This one to Josh Hart, who for the third straight game as the Knicks goes into double figures with 13. And the Knicks hit the All-Star break in style, winning big in Atlanta tonight, 122-101. Great to have you with us, everyone, from our Delta MSG studios. Bill Pito along with Alan Hahn. The Knicks did not want to take a break before the break. They didn't have any letdown at all tonight. It was a wire-to-wire win. In fact, after they got the big lead, the closest the Hawks got was 11 in the third quarter and 13 in the fourth quarter. Dominating tonight for the
Absolutely,
Knicks.
right from the start, too. Both coaches before this game talked about the importance of this game. Nate McMillan told his team the same exact thing. Look at the standings. It's a tiebreaker game, critical game. Yes, there's a break coming up, but you got to play this game before you take vacation. One team listened. That was the Knicks. First quarter came out ready to play. The other team, 3-2-1 Cancun. I mean, they were ready to go home, not ready to play in this game. Embarrassing performance from Atlanta. Great performance by the Knicks. And it also shows you where they are as a group. You see them after the game, the way they're interacting with each other, having fun, knowing how important it was to close this out. And where they are right now as they set themselves up. We are now downhill, Bill, when we get back from this break. 22 games to go. And they, right now, the New York Knicks, are in a playoff spot.
That's because the Nets tonight beat the Heat. So you got the Knicks in 6th, half game over the 7th-place Heat, and 2 games behind the 5th-place Brooklyn Nets. So if the season were to end today, Knicks guaranteed of a spot in the first round. And the key tonight, Allen, right out of the gates, Knicks outscored Atlanta in the first quarter, 37-21.
It was quick. I mean, it was quick and it was decisive, and this game felt like it was over early on. And it had a lot to do with the usual suspects, including Julius Randle, who is one of the top scorers in the NBA in the first quarter, shoots the ball very well. R.J. Barrett, I mean, that's just too easy. You could see how soft the defense is. To the Knicks, they did what they were supposed to do. And there's Julius Randle, who's the top three-point shooter in the first quarter in the NBA, has the most threes made in the first quarter in the NBA. So he sets the tone, but everybody had it going. How about Isaiah Hartenstein? One of his 3 blocks in this game, stuffing the dunk, and Randle unstoppable one-on-one. Look at the passing, look at the ball movement. Josh Hart knocked down 3 3-pointers in this game, continues his red-hot shooting from downtown. The Knicks just had it rolling. They looked like the team that was ready to start this game, and they took it to Atlanta. And by the way, also important, evening the season series. Now the tiebreaker moves to, if they happen to be in a tie with the Hawks end of the season, the next tiebreaker is your conference record. The Knicks are now 23-16 against East opponents, way better than Atlanta's record there.
3-point shooting was huge tonight. In the first half, the Knicks made 9 threes. Atlanta made only 1 3. For the game, the Knicks made 14 threes, and Atlanta made only 5 threes. Rarely do we see that kind of differential in the Knicks' favor, but that was key tonight for the Knicks. And so, too, as always, was the play of Jalen Brunson, actually with 9 rebounds tonight. That's a season high to go with his 28 points and 5 assists.
7 in the first half, and it was a little of everything. He was part of the Knicks' dominance on the glass. Long rebounds happen, and the guards have to be ready to get them, and he certainly was. The Knicks were plus 15 on the boards. But let's talk more about this game for Jalen Brunson. We talked about at halftime how he got into the paint at will. Well, that didn't change in the second half. He was still getting into the paint, as we showed you. These are all second-half baskets. Ball movement certainly as well. It's become one of his favorite targets. The fellow Villanova star in Josh Hart. But as you see, Bill, we go into the All-Star break, and the one thing you keep thinking is, how is this guy not going to Salt Lake City? The way he has played over the last half of the season, really for the entire season, has been phenomenal. And he has been such a catalyst for this team in times when they needed buckets. In that third quarter, it got to 11, as you mentioned. The Hawks were trying to get back in this game. And Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle made sure that wasn't going to happen.
You made the point there when we showed the highlights from the first quarter. And that's been one of the keys to the Knicks' success, is how Randle starts these games.
Yep.
And tonight, 12 points came in that first quarter. He finished the game with 25, 12 in the first 12 minutes.
Yeah, and it's just been the way he prepares to play. Whatever he's done going into this season he is ready at opening tip-off, and he takes it to his opponent, but you look up, and next thing you know, he's got 10 points and knocks down a couple of threes. That's the best part of this, is that his three-point shooting at the start of games is phenomenal. He shoots a high percentage in the first quarters, 1.3 three-pointers made per game, which is the most in the NBA in the first quarter. He's tied with, two guys you might have heard of, Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, and they get off to fast starts as well. But he has now 80 made threes in the first quarter this season, which is the most by anybody in the NBA. But those plays we're showing you right there, that's later on. Look at this effort and power and intensity that he brought to those putbacks, offensive rebounds, that at that point of the game, it was that moment where it could slip, and Atlanta was trying to push back and get it under 10 points. And Randle said no. And when the Knicks were struggling to get good buckets, he got offensive rebounds and strong putbacks like you saw there. So it wasn't just the start for him. It was also when it mattered most, and he raised his intensity level to make sure the Hawks were not going to make this a game.
Late third quarter. That was when Randle and the Knicks really stepped up after Atlanta had gotten to within 11 points. So the Knicks now 6 games above 500. That equals their high water mark for the season. They were once 25-19. Now they're 33-27.